Hi everyone, I'm Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV. Today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you an elegant card project featuring the Sending Love StampTV Kit. And I'm also going to show you how I like to color the Daffodil stamp in the new kit. Let me show you the tools and products you need to make this card project. First, you're going to need some cardstock. The cardstock that I've chosen for this project is a jelly bean green card base, some of our black onyx, and some of our layering weight white. I'm also using a little strip of one of the pattern papers from the Sending Love pattern paper pack, along with a black strip for that particular piece. Then, for stamps, I am going to use the Sending Love stamp set, and that's the one with this large daffodil stamp, and I'm also going to be using the With Love and Prayer stamp. This is a great card to have in your stash if you ever need one for either a sympathy card or for somebody that really needs a little bit of encouragement. Then I'm going to use some markers to color with, and the colors I'm using are, for Spectrum Noir, I'm using GB1, GB3, GB4, GB5, and GB6, so lots of yellow. I'm going to use the TN6, and that'll give me a little bit of orange in there. I also have GB2, so that is in that mix. So I'm using pretty much all the yellows. And then for greens, I'm using GB11 and DG2. And then I have a blue, GT1. So I'll tell you the color names again as I use them. Let me get these spread out so I can see them a little better. Okay, and then to stamp this, I'm going to use my Misti stamp tool. And the reason I've chosen to use the Misti on this particular stamp is, look how big this stamp is. This thing is huge. It's pretty much the size of an A2 card from top to bottom or side to side. And because I'm stamping this on a smaller piece of cardstock, and I just want to measure my sample here, make sure I'm going in the right direction, I'm going to lay this at the 2-inch mark, like that. And the reason why I want to make a note of where I'm laying it is because if my card shifts after I remove the lid, I want to make sure I can reposition it. So I'm going to lay my stamp right in the middle here, like that. That is where I want it to go. And then I'm going to close the lid of the Misti, and then you can see my little piece of cardstock stuck to it. So I'm going to place that back on that 2-inch mark, and now I can ink up my stamp on the Misti stamping tool. I'm going to use Memento ink for this one because I'm going to be coloring with alcohol markers, and I know a lot of you love the Memento ink for that, and I do too. Now, if you get any ink anywhere else on your Misti, just take a piece of paper towel and just wipe it away. And then I'm going to stamp this image. Now, I'm going to put nice even pressure all over, but it doesn't matter if I shift my hands around because everything is all secure inside this stamping tool. And if I don't get it right, I can restamp it. All right. But that looks pretty good. All right. So I'll move that out of the way. And then I'm going to zoom in a bit here so that you're able to see me do this coloring. So I'm going to start with my lightest color for now. I'm going to start with the GB01 or GB1. And I'm going to color the outer edges of all these petals. And you can see this is such a pretty yellow. It's very similar to our sweet corn, which is a very delicate yellow. It's not too much green in it. Some of the yellows have a lot of green in them, and this does not have much green in it at all. So that's kind of nice. And I'm going to do the same for over here. Just kind of the outsides. Now, I am not a marker specialist by any means. But I have to tell you that the Spectrum Noir markers, just like Copic markers, they're so nice. They really make you look a lot better than you are, and they certainly make me look a heck of a lot better than I am. As long as you follow the color order, you can really do some very, very nice blending. And if you haven't tried alcohol markers and you want to start with something a little bit less expensive, Spectrum Noir is really a nice way to go, because you can start at a reasonable price. There's not too many to choose from. It's a nice size collection, very nice. It doesn't really lack anything, but it's not too overwhelming. Okay, so I've added that color, and now I'm going to take the GB6 marker, and I'm going to color all along the little lines that are already drawn into the flower. So you can see up near where the petals attach to that bloom part of the flower, you really got some nice depth. And then I'm also going to color just in around the top area of the flower, like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to color all these areas where the lines are. And really get in close in this area there. And we're going to do a little bit of blending after this with some of the lighter yellows. Coloring is so relaxing. I know a lot of people are really getting into the adult coloring books, and they are so much fun. But as stampers, we kind of invented that adult coloring craze, didn't we? Okay. Just add a little bit there. And one more to go. And a little bit up in here. Okay, so you can see it's already coming to life. Now I'm going to go a little bit lighter. I brought out all the yellows, but I'm going to see exactly which ones I need. This one is GB4. So this kind of gives a nice blend down into that color that looks a lot like the sweet corn. I'm just kind of feather stroking down toward that lighter yellow. So wherever that lighter yellow is, you want to kind of go toward it. Now there's a lot of great Copic experts out there that can teach you a lot more than this, but if you're just getting started, this kind of technique works pretty well for those of us that aren't quite the experts yet. Oh, this is such a pretty stamp. I really enjoy coloring this one. And I think even though this is a springtime flower, this is just one of those stamps that anytime you need an elegant sympathy card or anything like that, it will work so well. Okay, I think I'm going to go with the GB2 this time. So this is almost as light as the GB1. And I'm going to drag the rest of that down into the GB1. And that's some nice shading there. I'm going to add a little bit more orange into that center too, I think. Just a little bit. kind of just blending those last little areas together. And this yellow almost has a hint of pink in it, which is really pretty. Okay. Then I'm going to grab that orange one that I talked about, the TN6, and I'm going to add a little bit of that just into the center here, like that. Just on these, like that. And then I'll go back with that GB6, which was my darkest yellow, and I'll kind of blend that in together. And then we'll go up to GB5. Bring some of that in. All right. So there's my flowers. Now for the leaves, I'm going to use the DG2 and just do nice, easy strokes, just to add some green in there. I'm not going to worry too much about perfection, because this is such a wispy kind of leaf. I will add a little bit into here and into here. All right, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that darker green that I brought out. And that is the GB11. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in there for a second color of green. Don't have to do a whole lot of blending, just some little accent lines. Now I know some of the colorists out there have colored this and it looks so real, it's perfect. But I just enjoy adding a little bit of shading in there, and I'm not that good. Alright, and then my last color is GT1, and I love to do a highlight around the outside of these types of images. It just makes the whole thing glow. You can see how pretty that is, that bright aqua, but it's very, very soft, and it dries very soft. It gives you just a nice glow around the edges. And then I go on the inside too, just kind of fill in around all the images. You don't have to be real neat about this. It's just supposed to give you kind of a watercolory look. And it separates the image a little bit from the white cardstock. Makes the yellow even more vibrant. Kind of what you would do with a watercolor paintbrush and a little bit of pale aqua paint. Okay, so that gives me that nice glow. And now I'm going to assemble this card. So I'm going to place this piece on top of a piece of black onyx. And sometimes you just get tired of the same old layout. So I'm going to do a little bit of a different layout this time. I get kind of stuck in my ruts, and it's kind of nice to try something a little bit different. So that piece is going to go right here on the side of this piece of jelly bean green. And then, you remember I cut out that little strip. Let's see if that's straight. That's not perfectly straight. Okay, so they're straight. And then I'm going to use this strip with this little black strip of pattern paper. And adhere that to the black strip. And then that whole piece is going to go right about here. And all of the measurements are underneath the screen at StampTV and also in the description box at YouTube. So if you're watching it at either one of those places, that's where you'll find all the measurements. Okay, and so now I want to add a greeting. And the greeting I've chosen is the With Love and Prayers. So I'm just going to grab a little acrylic block for this one. And you could either use the Memento ink or you can use the Gina K Designs ink. The black ink is wonderful, our Gina K Designs black ink, but since I have this out, I'm just going to stamp this right here, like that. All right. Now, I have another little piece of black onyx. I'm going to flip this over and adhere this to the piece of black onyx. And then this whole piece is going to go in between these two pieces. And you just pick a spot that you'd like to see it. I think I'll put it right there. There we go. And that is my finished card project. I hope you've enjoyed today's StampTV video. Stay tuned to StampTV for more fun projects featuring the Sending Love StampTV Kit. And thanks so much for watching.